It's an amazing day. Andrea M. Stuckey here, the divorce liberator and your favorite life and divorce coach. Listen up. I have a question for you. As a divorce coach, being in this space, working with women, primarily women, for 8.5 years now, one of the questions that always comes up is, how do you know you've healed? How do you know you've changed, right? And sometimes people think that time means healing, right? But the reality is, and I've experienced this in my own life, time isn't necessarily a healer. And I mean healing of a past relationship, healing from any trauma or grief or challenge that you may have had in your life, and or just change. You want to grow, you want to change, you want your life to elevate to another level. Whatever that looks like for you. How do you measure that? How do you know you've changed? How do you know you've grown? How do you know you've healed, right? So my question to you is, what have you actively done? How can you measure your healing? How can you measure change? What have you literally done outside of just allowing time to pass? I've said this before and I'll say it again. You have to be able to quantify it. I'll give you a great example. For those of you who are runners or walkers, and let's just say, maybe you have a smartwatch or you have an app, right? If you don't have your app or your smartwatch, you may be walking and you think that you've walked a certain pace. You think that you've walked a certain amount of miles, and then you look at your app or you realize that you were moving a lot slower than you thought. You're realizing that you didn't go as far as you anticipated, right? You felt like you walked 2 miles, but you only walked a half a mile. You felt like you had a great pace. You felt like you were walking a great pace, but it took you longer, right? It is the same thing. You have to be able to quantify it. Now, what are some ways that you can quantify your healing? One, perhaps even a friend or family member that is sort of maybe helping you or listening to you, or ask them if they're close to you. Have they seen a change in your attitude and your behavior and how you maybe talk about that divorce or past relationship or traumatic event that has happened? Or have they seen your attitude change, seen your life change? What are the results, right? That can be a family member. Maybe it's a counselor. Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe you've read a book. Maybe you've taken a course. There's lots of personal development courses online, right? Through different coaches, therapists, etc. What have you actively done? You need to measure. You've got to have a measurement, right? Whether it's a person, a thing. So, in essence, have you healed? How can you quantify it, right? So for me personally, over my, 13-year journey, 13.5-year journey post-divorce, not only have I been in therapy and counseling at the beginning and even over the past couple years, but during that course, I've had mindset coaches, I've had business coaches, I've had spiritual coaches, people who have spoken into my life. I've read countless books, right? And these are things that I also recommend with my own clients. You have to be able to quantify it, because in our own minds, in our own ego, right? We think that we're wonderful, and we are, right? But we do need some sort of outside intervention, if that makes sense, outside of just our own head. So I want you to think about that today if you're thinking about So yes, I want you to think about that today if you're thinking about your healing journey, if you're trying to measure if you've grown thus far this year or within the past year. Just ask yourself, what have you actually done? What are the tangible things that you've done intentionally to change, grow, heal, or elevate your life to another level? You should be able to literally write down a few things, and something is better than nothing. If you actually have done something, then you're on that road to change. And the more that you've done, the more that there should be change, fruit, and results in your life. So again, I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, the divorce liberator and your favorite life and divorce coach. I'll see you next time.